Hi everyone, my name is Yanivar Brewery. I work for Mozilla. I work on WebRTC and media in the Firefox browser. This is an update on the WebRTC working group, which I co-chair with Harald Alvestrand from Google and Bernarda Bova from Microsoft. Slide 2. 2020 was a year when the whole world went virtual. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in early 2020, the web was the linchpin for organizing our lives through this social crisis. Video conferencing became an essential tool to help us stay connected and interact with our friends, family, and colleagues. Students and children could attend school through video classrooms, and we scheduled televisits with our doctor, therapist, or other healthcare professional. This was all made possible in no small part by WebRTC, the standard in web conferencing in browsers and beyond. A real-time audiovisual connection is the most human form of online interaction and the least lonely, and it arrived just in time. All major video conferencing sites like Google Meet and Zoom were able to scale up their servers for the sudden demand, which soared 3,000% in the first 3 months of the pandemic alone. That's a 30 times increase in usage, so significant it moved the needle on all internet usage. And it kept growing from there. And the broad takeaway is it all worked. These tools are still with us and have become our new normal. Slide 3. Now that's not to say there weren't challenges, but let's pause and appreciate what a tremendous success this is. The pandemic might have been even more isolating and more areas of society might have shut down if not for these tools. Some takeaways. Video meetings are not just for business anymore, and sites have adapted. Dealing with kids meant host controls on mute and presenting, and locking rooms against strangers, which became baseline features underlining that security should never be optional. People have diverse needs, joining meetings from browsers and apps across desktop, tablets, and mobile. WebRTC is the predominant technology even outside browsers. This makes sense because being able to join someone else's meeting without installing their software or app is a market advantage. And for service providers, having a single stack is simpler. Service providers did tremendous work to scale up servers to meet the huge demand. But a few sites are still behind the standard client side, and this is hurting group calling across browsers. WebRTC made the right bets on security. There were no Zoom bombing security incidents of yesteryear, but still, browsers remain more private and secure than most apps because of the testing they receive and the web model. Being able to present in a meeting is a critical part of a shared experience, so we need to make this safer. Working from home has added demands for virtual backgrounds to protect home life. And while we're homebound, our interest in live streaming, online games, and entertainment has gone up. And it's natural to want to connect around these activities. Slide 4. Achievements in 2020. Other than withstanding the ultimate stress test of a pandemic, some other things to note is that the WebRTC 1.0 specification became a recommendation in January of this year, making it a living standards pioneer in the W3C. Now, this 56,000 word document represents 10 years of work by 257 people over 16 real-world meetings before the pandemic, as well as 57 dogfooding video meetings, resulting in 4,700 commits in the W3C alone. This isn't even counting its 51 normative references, many to WebRTC-specific work done in the IETF. WebRTC has been massively deployed and is implemented in all major browsers with web, wire, and device interop. Other accomplishments: we recycled the camera, microphone, and screen sharing candidate recommendations. The working group rechartered to work on improving privacy and security and to tackle some new use cases. And a new web transport working group was formed in the W3C to improve live streaming. Slide 5. So what's left? Well, we need to improve interoperability between browsers. While all of them have converged now, and many sites have too, interoperability remains optional. Google Chrome is set to turn off non-standard behavior on group calls in August, with a reverse origin trial for any remaining sites that need more time for a managed exit of this problem. But we also have a laundry list of other items, from finishing specs to implementation paper cuts. Slide 6. So what's next? Security is important as ever, so we want to extend end-to-end encryption to group calls. But so there's no mistake, WebRTC is fully encrypted today. But in group calls, we typically talk to a server intermediary. This middle box must be trusted by the site, but it may be from a different company. So we want to extend encryption past this middle box, but doing so may require application involvement to learn when someone leaves the meeting. And you must still trust the site because it controls the endpoints. So this is still not a zero trust solution, at least not yet. Slide 7. In early 2020, we put device enumeration behind permission, but camera and microphone use has skyrocketed and is now normal. So trackers are still able to fingerprint us based on our device labels on a worrisome 9% of the web. To solve this requires putting camera, microphone, and speaker selection back in the bottle, meaning back in the browser. In-browser pickers have proven successful in Firefox, as well as in screen sharing across browsers. We aim to experiment with speaker selection here first, an area still being standardized. Slide 8. More and more people are presenting online, but they may inadvertently share things they didn't mean to. And there are hidden risks too hard to explain even to technical folk with sharing untrusted dynamic web pages. We think presenting can be more web-friendly and safer at the same time by integrating tab capture directly with web pages for them to capture themselves. That way, a SlideMaker web page could join an ongoing meeting, and a meeting could be recorded client-side as seen by a participant. Now, security here is critical, so this would require site isolation and permission because a rendering may reveal unobvious sensitive information like your browsing history. Slide 9. To compete with native apps, we need to replace backgrounds or blur them and composite participants together. We also need to allow and enable machine learning and improve accessibility. So we're considering letting JavaScript workers manipulate uncoded video data, ideally without copying for performance. And would also like to expose WebRTC data channels in workers for faster data processing and games. Slide 10. Millions of us watch live events and follow streamers on Twitch in the pandemic. At the same time, Google Stadia streams online games over WebRTC. These are different technologies. But what's the difference? Well, WebRTC is more real-time than live streaming. Low latency in the milliseconds allow natural conversations, interactions, and games. So, a panel of anywhere from 2 to 100 speakers can engage in active discussion over WebRTC, while an audience of millions watch a delayed live stream of it for entertainment. This live stream will be anywhere from 2 to 60 seconds delayed for some audience members, even if they never pause. And this is for scaling reasons today. Now, these number breakdowns may change, but the different trade-offs and scaling costs remain. 1 million people all talking at once is neither practical nor cost-effective. So it's up to services to use the best tools for the job. Now, bear in mind, this is an extreme oversimplification, and there are a lot of players in the middle of this space right now, using both WebRTC and other technologies to achieve lower latencies at scale. The holy grail will be to unify all this someday. But the main obstacle is the streaming delay. So we're looking to other working groups to narrow this gap. Specifically, the Web Transport Working Group is adding real-time data to client server. and that data can be fed to media source extensions for playback or encoded for sending with web codecs. To conclude, WebRTC works. It's hugely successful and necessary in the world. Expect continued privacy and performance improvements over the next 2 years. The mass streaming requirements have been factored out to web transport with media source extensions and web codecs. Thank you. And now it's time for questions.